Hey everybody, it's Ryan, and this is my first workout right after my powerlifting meet, my first heavy workout. I had a previous workout, my deadlift workout, which was more of a kind of like I needed to work out, otherwise I'm going to lose my mind type of workout, and I really didn't lift heavy. Here is sort of a actual progressive workout program to start of a new 6-week plan or 6-week progression following the Dan Green's template, or not really, I just following his bench press template. And sort of what I'm going to be doing is just focusing on, there's a lot of different philosophies. I'm going to be all over the place in this video, but something that comes to mind when I bench is just kind of deciding kind of when to progress the weight, right? I think those are one of the things that I think a lot of us may be concerned with. And what I do notice with progressing the weight is that if you increase the weight every single week, you're going to eventually hit a wall and burn out. I don't know if you can call it burning out your CNS, your central nervous system, or you can call it bad form, or you can call it a plateau. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same exact workout, the same exact movements, and I'm going to keep the weight the same. And I'm going to see if I can crank out more reps. I'm not going to change anything for the simple fact that I want to solidify my skill, solidify my technique, because that's definitely one thing that does need a lot of work with the bench, is that I'm pretty good with pushing on the bench, but I think my technique is a little bit inconsistent. And so I got these new wrist wraps, these beautiful pink wrist wraps. This is the only color they had, unfortunately. But I use them. And one thing I'm learning with the bench press is putting the bar deeper into the palm. So that way your wrist stays more neutral. For some of you that are into powerlifting already know this. I am new to this idea. I never really paid attention to it. So now I'm going to be paying attention to it. So that way I can be consistent with my form and technique. This is probably why sometimes I will miss a bench press because I'm not tight enough in the back. Sometimes my wrist isn't lined up properly. So now I'm going to be focused on staying tight in the back and having my wrist lined up properly. So here it is with a slingshot now, getting some more reps in. And I've decided that I'm going to use a slingshot as a way to use touch and go deadlifts. I think they work perfect for me because I'm pretty strong from the bottom of my bench, or relatively strong. Much stronger on the bottom when compared to the lockout, because my lockout is definitely my weakest point in this bench. So until I can get some really consistent lockout speed, so each week I'm going to use a slingshot for touch and go bench press instead of doing just standard touch and go bench press, for the purposes of overloading so I can tolerate more weight, but also make sure that I'm really focusing on my lockout, because obviously the slingshot helps with the bottom position, and when I get to the top, once it passes my chest, it's really just all lockout. So in essence, it's almost like a full range of motion floor press, if that makes any sense. So now here I am doing some wide grip. Dan Green was a pretty advocate about different variations of bench press, close grip and wide grip. And I've been watching Brandon Campbell's videos when he does bench press, and he's a really strong bench presser, definitely stronger than me. And wide grip benching, I'm noticing is getting a lot of chest involvement. It also helps with just keeping tight in the back, because the wider you are out, it's almost like you have to pull the bar apart to make sure your upper back and traps stay nice and tight. It also helps a lot with squeezing the bar very firmly, because in order for you to get the bar up, you really have to squeeze the bar, and that's another focus point of being able to bench more weight, whether it be wide grip or standard. Another thing also is I'm also practicing lift off, because I never really practiced lift off. I have my workout buddy of Vageli, he's helping me out, and he's going to be working. I think we're going to do this every Sunday at home, so I'm going to be bench pressing at home for the most part, because I think this is really what's the next stage in my bench press. Because if I'm going to make any progress, I can't have any doubt in my mind that I'm going to grind out some heavy weight. And in the case that I can't grind it out, I have someone to spot me. Unlike the squat and the deadlift, spotting is a lot different. You don't have a rack to really help you, or at least my rack doesn't really help in that way, because the little holes here for the pins don't fit right. So kind of my philosophy right now for linear progression is to focus on increasing the weight every 2 weeks. So the first week I'm going to pick a weight, which I felt like I picked some really good weights, some challenging enough weights. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the weight the same and try to rep out more reps. I'm going to keep a log of everything that I'm doing. I use photocracy, but I'm going to be a little bit more detailed and put some notes in there. And that way I can definitively decide or make sure that I am getting stronger, and then I have a really good guide point for that. And the only way I'm going to do that is if I track everything. Because every time I increase the weight, like if in some of my repetitions I felt like I was favoring one side more than the other, I'm losing my tightness in my shoulders because I'm grinding the top. So I want to make sure that I can basically do the same exact thing, but with less grinding. At least less grinding from the previous week on the same number of reps. So here's some rear delt work. I hate accessory work, and I know I need to do more of it for two reasons. One, it helps shape out my shoulders. It'll look more aesthetically pleasing and widen me up, so that way I can look like I lift. Sometimes I don't look like I lift on camera on some occasions, depending on the camera I use. I've used my wide angle webcam, look quite small. But I figure, hey, why not do some aesthetic stuff? I know rear delts are actually pretty important for balancing out the shoulder, to protect the shoulder and have some long-term focus to take care of everything. Here are some shirtless composition rear delt flies, and the purpose of these, again, is every maybe 10 or so videos I'll do a shirtless video to check my composition. In these lighting conditions and this setup, I actually don't look too bad. I'm not too fluffy. I am a bit fluffy. Of course, you can see a little spare tire, but luckily I got some chest muscles and some shoulder muscles and traps that kind of help offset it a little bit. So hopefully I can get these chest and shoulder muscles much bigger, so that way I can offset my abdomen. You can see me I'm swimming in the air here because I'm trying to burn out my rear delt. It's definitely a weak point that I need to work on. Maybe over the coming weeks you'll be able to actually see a difference. It's going to be hard to see, but I guess I'll refer back to this video at the end of 6 weeks and just take a look at if there is any difference, because I want to keep this consistent. 4 sets of 20 reps, drop sets of rear delt flies, because I really need to work on these. And if you don't do them, you do need to do them, or you need to do some sort of rear deltoid work if you like to press a lot. Otherwise, you're not going to maintain the health of your shoulder, and everybody wants healthy shoulders, or people don't want to get injured. I know you don't, and I definitely don't. And lastly, for a final workout, is to do some bent over rows. Here's 185 pounds, really squeezing everything nice and tight. I'll alternate between doing pendlay rows and regular bent over rows. Here with this 225, I keep a little bit more upright position, almost doing like a shrug. And I'm sure that you'll agree with me, these are probably less than flattering videos because of a slight amount of body fat that I have on my body. But I'm trying to get comfortable in my own skin, and I am starting to with this whole powerlifting. A big part of the strength journey is being able to be comfortable in your own skin. You know, confidence, the psychological, is actually a really big part of any type of training program. And I think one of the hardest things when it comes to training and pushing yourself, or even putting yourself out there like on YouTube like I am, is being secure with yourself. Because if you're not secure and you're not confident, it's really hard to take yourself to that next level, whether it be YouTube or your business, your career, your life, your relationships, or in my case, even powerlifting. So I'm just trying to explore this area of powerlifting and strength, and hope you enjoyed the journey so far. And I'd like to hear about you, what you think about all this stuff about, body fat and whatnot. Because if it wasn't for powerlifting, and if I wasn't pretty strong or felt strong, I wouldn't be very comfortable with what you see on camera. But for now, I would scale from 1 to 10 how uncomfortable I am with sharing kind of my shirtless video here at the end. I would say 10 being the most uncomfortable. I would say I'm probably about a 6. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.